Good morning and welcome to Peace United Church of Christ. I'm Darcy Swanson, the Music and Faith Formation Coordinator. This morning we are celebrating Children's Sabbath, and the Children's Defense Fund theme this year is "The Child Shall Lead" from Isaiah 11. During our sermon time this morning, we will have the opportunity to hear from 3 different educators about why it is important to let children lead and how they let children lead. This morning, we would like to welcome Dr. Brittany Powell, who is with us, and she has been our site coordinator for Freedom School for the last 2 years. Pastor Wendy is on vacation this week and will be returning this weekend. I invite you to hear these opening words. We come to hear the voices of children. We come to hear the wisdom of our children. We come to hear words of care and concern, challenge and charge. We come to help bend the arc of moral universe towards justice for children. We have come to help bend the arc in partnership across religion and race, income and ethnicity, age and experience. We come to help bend the arc with commitment and determination. Come, let us worship on this Children's Sabbath day.
And now our reading for this morning is Isaiah chapter 10, verses 1 through 10. Then a shoot will sprout from the stump of Jesse, from Jesse's roots a branch will blossom. The Spirit of Yahweh will rest on you, a spirit of wisdom and understanding, a spirit of counsel and strength, a spirit of knowledge and reverence for Yahweh. You will delight in obeying Yahweh, and you won't judge by appearances or make decisions by hearsay. You will treat poor people with fairness and will uphold the rights of the land's downtrodden. With a single word, you will strike down tyrants. With your decrees, you will execute evil people. Justice will be the belt around your waist. Faithfulness will gird you up. Then the wolf will dwell with the lamb, and the leopard will lie down with the young goat. The calf and the lion cub will graze together, and a little child will lead them. The cow will feed the bear, their young will lie down together. The lion will eat hay like the ox. The baby will play next to the den of the cobra, and the toddler will dance over the viper's nest. There will be no harm, no destruction anywhere in my holy mountain, for as water fills the sea, so the land will be filled with knowledge of Yahweh. On that day, the root of Jesse will serve as a symbol to the peoples of the world. Nations will flock to you, and your home will be a place of honor. And now I have some following quotes. When we love children, we acknowledge by our every action that they are not property, that they have rights, that we respect and uphold their rights. And that is from Bell Hooks. Each child belongs to all of us, and they will bring us tomorrow in direct relation to the responsibility we have shown to them. It's Maya Angelou. I have learned you are never too small to make a difference. That's from Greta Thunberg. For the wisdom contained in these holy words, we give thanks. Amen.
Good morning. My name is Brittany Powell, and I am currently in my 13th year in the Parkway School District. And I've been asked to share my perspective on the following. How do I let children lead? Why it is important to let children lead? And what has been my experience when I let children lead? So I'll start. So what is the most treasured classroom job? Everyone knows it's the line leader, right? Well, I'll start with a little quick story. When I was in first grade, I got to be the permanent line leader for a little while. But what I didn't realize until I was an adult is that wasn't a good thing. It was because I couldn't stop talking to my classmates. So I had to stand by the teacher for a while. And it's important to let children lead because they are our future. These are the kids that will be taking care of us when we get older. They will be the doctors that prescribe our medicine. They will be the children that invent the things that we will be using. But also because they are honest. If you ever want to know if your outfit is cute or if the meal you cooked tastes good, ask a child. They'll tell you the truth. What has been my experience? What my experience has been when I let children lead. In this ever-changing world of technology, anytime I'm having issues with technology, whether at home or in the classroom, I ask a child. We got new smart boards this year, and anytime I'm having issues like getting a website to load or getting something to link, the children always help. Any cool new features, I learned just this past week, my students were telling me, well, when you have a Google presentation, you can, there's a laser pointer. And I'm like, what? Who knew? The kids will tell you. And lastly, I wanted to share a video that I saw, a YouTube video. It's called The Tree, and it's about a little boy in India who, he was on his school bus, and there's this like huge tree that's blocking the road, and there are police officers, there were two in a truck, and they saw the tree, and the traffic was stopped, no one could go anywhere, and the two police officers didn't do anything. Obviously all the people in their cars, they didn't go anywhere, they were just sitting there just kind of looking at the tree. And then some men got out of their cars and they tried to move the tree, but then it started raining, so they ran back to their cars or wherever they were. And then the little boy gets off the bus and he tries to move the tree by himself, and it's a huge tree. And when they see the little boy try to move the tree, then everyone else starts to come and help him. And sometimes it takes a tiny child to make a huge impact. And I invite you guys to look at this video. It's just called Lead India, The Tree. And you'll see how just this one little kid, he's like, looks like to be about 5 or 6, how everyone comes to help after he starts to help everyone. Isaiah 11, 1 through 10 shares a vision of harmony between natural enemies, wolves and sheep, cows and bears. I believe if we let children lead, we'll start seeing some harmony between the poor and the rich, Republicans and Democrats, the powerful and the powerless, Americans and immigrants. Thank you.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me okay? Perfect. My name is Tim Waters. I'm a third grade teacher at Long Elementary. I work for the Lindbergh School District in Crestwood. There's been a plethora of research pointing to the advantages of social and emotional learning, otherwise known as SEL. If you're not an educator, just so you know, there's a lot of acronyms in education. So I apologize in advance if I'm using all of these acronyms, but there's a ton. So we have SEL, we have all of these things. Anyway, and its benefits for developing the whole child, and even specifically their academic skills and ability to make good choices. But what about its connection to leadership? According to the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, CASEL, there's another acronym for you, good SEL skills can be developed in schools and classrooms in a number of ways, including through leadership opportunities. So I'll spare you all the research, but I'll get to the point of how leadership looks like in my classroom and also in my school. At the beginning of each school year, students in my classroom, with some guidance from me, determine various leadership roles that are needed for a smooth and productive day from the moment that they come into the school until they leave the classroom. The idea here is that the classroom is student-centered and that each and every child has a voice and a choice. Typical leadership positions include restorative circle leader, morning meeting manager, light leader, phone operator, research, and the list goes on and on. This year, it's my first year back as a third grade teacher. I started my career 14 years ago as a third grade teacher, and then I taught first grade, second grade, fourth grade, and now again, third grade. Well, third graders are not as organized as fourth graders. And I learned that very early on this year. We have storage baskets in my room because I don't have the traditional classroom where there's like desks and stuff. I have tables and whatnot. Anyway, after day 2 or 3, I looked at the baskets and I'm like, oh my goodness, 3rd graders. Woo! They noticed it too. Well, I love alliteration and I love organization. So we had a meeting and we decided that there was going to be a leadership role this year, basketballs. And boy, are 3rd graders bossy. Whenever there's an opportunity to point out that someone is disorganized, let me tell you, 3rd graders will definitely take the lead on that. So along with the restorative circle leader, morning meeting manager, light leader, phone operator, and a long list of other leadership roles, we also have a leader who proudly keeps our classroom in tip-top shape and helps foster a sense of organization amongst the leaders and themselves. Every other week, this allocation of leadership roles changes. Leaders who served as a role the week prior are asked to train the leader taking on this respective new task. It is here that I see true leadership skills surface. Students take their role seriously and want those acquiring them to do the same. Aside from these roles, students in my class are leaders in other ways too. For example, experts on a certain topic may teach a small group of peers who may be struggling and need just a little more support for success. These experts may be helping a peer or two in our classroom, or perhaps a friend in another classroom, or even in another grade. The idea here is that we are leaders in our classroom and throughout our school. Speaking of which, at the school level, students are responsible for the creation and facilitation of morning announcements, returning dismissal cards to teachers each morning, helping young friends navigate the journey to the bus at the end of the day, returning lost items to fellow leaders and teachers, because teachers we lose things too. Leaders are 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, and on. And they're all from different backgrounds. Indeed, empowerment, responsibility, and leadership are taught and instilled in every scholar the moment they begin the journey in high school. In conclusion, by assuming responsibility and taking on leadership roles, students demonstrate a willingness to help others, to listen empathetically, and to make sound decisions. Helping students to develop these character traits is why student leadership is very important in school at every single level. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Carol Reinhardt, and I'm a retired teacher, which means I'm not active in the classroom, but that teaching thing never goes entirely away, I have to tell you. I taught for 20 years in the West Des Moines Community School District. I taught at a comprehensive high school and an alternative high school. And for my entire teaching career, I worked with at-risk teens. And at-risk means that these were students who weren't successful in their academic classes and had no discernible learning issues. They just weren't making it, and I was a reading teacher and I was supposed to help them make it. My goal was to help them learn in any way that I could. I taught classes that hopefully helped them find success in their English and social studies classes that were required for graduation. And a brief aside before I tell you my story. And it's a little bit of a conundrum for me. Often we talk about teens as if they're young adults. You kind of hear the oxymoron there. You know, they aren't really adults yet and they aren't children. But they are perceptive and they have a perception that when we listen can amaze us. And this is the story of one of those teens. Richard had worked with me since his freshman year, and now he was a junior, facing for him the daunting task of passing U.S. history. For 2.5 years, he'd heard me talk about different ways of learning and different ways of showing your learning, and he'd heard me talk about test anxiety and how to combat it, and he had heard me, and I hadn't been listening. Because students at the comprehensive high school where I taught in West Des Moines received academic credit for my classes, they had to take a final exam. I had to give them a final exam to kids who are test phobic. Testing meant another confirmation that they were failures as far as they were concerned. For my exam, they knew ahead of time what the questions would be. They could bring in notes. They couldn't bring in a completed essay. As I was preparing the exam for that first semester of their junior year, Richard said, can I talk to you for a minute after class? Sure. Mrs. Reinhardt, you tell us there's a variety of ways to learn and show what we've learned, yet you only give us the option of writing our exam. Couldn't we do an oral exam or create an art project or a song or something else? Yes, Richard, you're absolutely right. Because exam week is scheduled so uniquely, I could make appointments for oral exams and other written options. And yes, Richard did make an appointment to take his exam orally. His written exams his freshman and sophomore year had been, shall we say at best, adequate. His oral responses took my breath away. He was hearing, he was learning, and he was remembering what was going on in my class. He reminded me that what I'm doing every day was making a difference. Few teachers ever receive such a gift. And Richard made a difference in my career. From that day forward, I was led to discover the talents and expertise of the many at-risk teens that I worked with in my career. Now will you join me in prayer? This is a prayer by Marion Wright Edelman. Oh God, help us to recover our hope for our children's sake. Help us to recover our courage for our children's sake. Help us to recover our discipline for our children's sake. Help us to recover our ability to work together for our children's sake. Help us to recover our value for our children's sake. Amen.
Go forth to be the arms of God's love for every child. Go forth to extend Christ's welcome to every child. Go forth to be a voice of justice in the power of the Spirit. May God of love, hope, and justice be with you and each child of God this day and forevermore. Go in peace.